Hello, my name is Ryan Price, and I'll be answering interview questions for the stop motion fabricator position. The first question I wanted to answer was pretty much just walk you guys through my portfolio and to show you some pieces that I'm proud of. The first piece I wanted to show you is my student thesis film I did an undergraduate for UCF on this cone potted plants. And this piece is important to me, and I'm very proud of it because it was really the first time I'd ever made an animated thing, on my own for real. I have come from a background of doing a lot of group projects, in community college, and I wanted to stray away from that and try and just make something, entirely on my own, as well as, fall in love with the process of stop motion. And I feel that the thing I learned the most from that is just that extra level of thoughtfulness that I'm able to add to my puppets now that I've made puppets for animation and use them to animate. There's a certain amount of thoughtfulness that is added to the quality of my puppets, as well as the durability, and then just what parts to make modular because as you all know, these puppets break sometimes. So you just want to make sure if they break, they're gonna break in ways where you can replace them. So yeah, I think that's kind of what I learned, and just what I try to put into my process when making puppets. So the next question I want to answer: just what skills and qualities make a good puppet fabricator? I think the most important thing a puppet fabricator can do is just know how the creator's decisions they're making with the puppet kind of serve the project or the story, the animation, just whatever the project needs. And it reminds me of this Leica video I saw where they had someone from the hair and fur department talking about their job, and I think they put it best when they said that when they think about making hair and fur for these characters, it's like they're taking a puppet and putting it on another puppet. And I think that level of just detailed oriented, craftsmanship should just be put in every part of the puppet as opposed to the full body. I think that's just for the full body or the main parts of the body. And that's just a good example of that at its finest, for real. Okay, for the final question on the answer to that, I was going to give you guys an example when I disagreed with a client and just overall how I take critique. I think a good example was not necessarily a client, but still kind of a moment where there was a little bit of conflict that needed to be resolved. It was at the beginning of a project I was working on. It was an animated one, and everyone was very excited about adding the effects and just the art and it's the artistry of brainstorming and having fun and doing all that. And I just kind of remind everyone at the time that all that stuff's important, but we just need to make sure that it serves the story that we're trying to tell. So I was just trying to say that we should figure out what kind of story we're trying to tell first, and then we could figure out what kind of effects and what kind of artistry we want to add from there. Because that was just the most important thing. And I think that kind of wraps into how I would handle, critiques. Now, I have handled critiques, which I love being critiqued. I love learning and just developing my skills for real. But in terms of with the client, I'd always just ask them if the thing that they want to add serves the original idea that was presented to us at the time, just to try to make sure that, they're as happy as they can be with the product that they get, because that's really the most important thing at the end of the day.